What is up, Nuggets? It's your boy, Killer Pizza, here with a brand new video for you rascals and rapscallions out there. First and foremost, I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. Hopefully everybody is being safe out there with this COVID that will never go away, but at the same time, I hope you guys got to enjoy it with your friends, family, loved ones, and whatnot, and watch some good movies, had some good times, and all that jazz. But speaking of Christmas, it is currently 10:14 on Christmas Eve. I just got done watching one of my very favorite Christmas movies of all time, and I thought, what better time than now than to talk about it? And that movie is 1988's Die Hard, directed by John McTiernan. And I will get to if I truly believe this is a Christmas movie, why and why not later. But yeah, let me get right into the movie. First of all, I got to say this is the 30th anniversary like Christmas edition with the Christmas slip. So just to show you that, yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers. I think that's pretty cool. But this is the standard cover art for most DVD and Blu-ray releases of this. But anyways, this is going to be, supposed to be somewhat of a review. It is, but it isn't, because honestly, guys, I just want to fucking talk about Die Hard. So let's do that. Just got done watching, like I said, I'll give you guys a little plot synopsis. So Bruce Willis is the lead, Bruce fucking Willis, and he is a cop from New York City. He is on his way out of the airport, getting picked up by a limo driver to go to the Nakatomi Tower. It's a big corporation. They're having a Christmas party. He's invited by his wife, who he's been separated from for about 6 months, I think he says. She invited him over there. It's very quickly shown that they kind of want to still be together, but have differences in what they agree on with what's going on. Like, she wanted to go to LA to get the big job promotion, but he wanted to stay in New York because there were so many crimes that were left unsolved. So, anyways, he gets brought to the Christmas party, and right away, I'd say in the first act easily, this is probably the first 15 minutes that like a terrorist group invades the Nakatomi Plaza, the tower, and take over everything, and they're gonna rob them for all their assets in the vault. And that's pretty much what the movie is right there. Honestly, I love this movie so much. I put this off watching this for the first time for so long. I watched this the first time maybe 2 years ago, and I've seen it many, many times since then. This might surprise you guys, but I don't really like much action movies like I did when I was a kid. There's the classics, but I just, it's fun, like explosions and fights, but I like a little more substance in my movies. And you get that 100% in this film. There's like little things leading up with like the storytelling in the beginning, like, I love John McClane, who is the character Bruce Willis plays. If I didn't mention that, I don't know what I'm saying half the time. I just rant on and on. But he's just like a average humble police officer. Like he gets picked up at the airport by one of my favorite characters, Argyle, I believe. Yeah, Argyle. He's a limo driver. He picks him up, and Bruce Willis is sitting in the front seat with him in the limo on the way to the party. Which, I mean, there's so many little things like that the more you watch it, the more story you get. And this is actually where we get the first bit of story, where Argyle's kind of like talking to him, like, "Oh, come on, man, tell me what's going on." And John McClane is kind of like, "You always talk this much." And Argyle says, "I used to be a cab driver. A lot of people wanted me to talk. It was part of the deal. So he kind of gets into some conversation about his backstory, which, that's where it's explained that him and his wife are separated because of the jobs and everything. So John McClane gets to the party. Everything looks to be going good, from just an outsider standpoint, but you can tell he's not happy with the situation. They got kids and everything there in California, and this is kind of a spot where he kind of gets to know more of the characters. John McClane coming in, and that's where he gets into a conversation with his wife, and they kind of argue, and that's what kind of underlines the idea I had of, like, they want each other. Clearly, there's many, many hints towards that. But this is like the first sign that they have separate arguments, which, to be honest, both of them are valid arguments. That's what I love about this movie too. It's like, besides like the crazy action sequences, like a lot of this situations are relatable or realistic. But anyways, they get into it. his wife has to leave to go do this speech or whatever, and this is when the terrorists come and invade, and this is your first shot of Hans Gruber, like one of the best action movie villains ever, one of the best movie villains ever. And it's funny if you guys follow the Michigan Wrestling Organization, the company that I'm the heavyweight champion for it now. If you guys haven't seen my videos, I'm an independent wrestler. But anyways, my longtime friend Carlos, who goes by the name Don Lopez, is my manager. And for the longest time growing up, knowing him, he used to always do this impression of like a really cool villain. And then by the time I watched this movie a couple years ago, I was like, you son of a bitch, that's just a spot on Hans Gruber impression. But I ain't mad. I ain't mad. Hans Gruber's the fucking man. But anyways, I digress. They get into the building. And another cool thing about this, like how stealthy Hans Gruber's guys are coming in and taking over. Like it reminds me of like in like a newer sense, not newer, but like Ocean's 11. Just like it's so satisfying to see like these slick like takeovers and stuff. But anyways, him and his crew are just on it. They get into the building, and this is all a big setup for what the movie becomes, where John McClane was left in the bathroom to kind of clean up after the airport. That's where he got in the argument with his wife. And when she leaves to go do this speech, that's when the terrorists come in and start shooting their guns, taking everyone over. John McClane cracks out the door. He's got a chance to go out the exit. He looks at the chaos. He can go fight it, and he sees the exit. He's got to make a choice. He chooses to stay and be heroic. And then what the movie gets into after this is what really defines this in my mind. For one, this movie's over 2 hours long, never drags. There's points that slow down enough to give some more character development. I like every character. I don't like every character, but every character is like useful to the point I like them, if that makes sense. You know, everyone's needed in this. No, the extras are extras. All the characters they bring in kind of intertwine and lead to something. But this is kind of the point where John McClane takes off through like the elevator shaft or whatnot. And this is what made the movie stand out for me the first time I ever watched it. It turns into a cat and mouse game of just one cop who has the right mindset, the right heart. He knows his wife's in there. He knows innocent people are in there. And rather than just coming out guns blazing, he's methodical. He's going through the elevator shafts, through the ducts, just like sneaking around. And all these terrorists are chasing after him, and he takes damage more and more and more through this whole movie. It gets gruesome. By the end of this movie, you can't even recognize John McClane. But it's this cat and mouse like suspense, like aura to this movie that just has me drawn to it so much to this day watching it. You know, I said I've seen it for the first time 2 years ago, but I've seen this movie close to a dozen times at this point, and still from this last watch today, I was sitting there like, go, 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 come on, come on, come on. That's what this movie does to you. And I'm not like the biggest suspense guy in movies, because like any genre, a lot of things can be done wrong and not pulled off right. This is a perfect example of suspense. It's like you really think John McClane's going to get killed at some points, and it's so cliche because this movie's like 30 years old, or 33 years old. So it's so cliche, you know, the main character isn't just going to get killed off, but this movie makes you believe that it might happen. And it really grips your emotions. It has tons of action sequences, which I'm not going to say I don't like. I kind of said something about that earlier. That's not the case. I like explosions. I like storytelling better, which this has plenty of that too. So when you get these big moments, the story built into it. So it's got good action, effects, storytelling, good characters. It's shot so good. The soundtrack is unbelievable, so suspenseful. And yeah, I can't say enough about this movie. It has a lot of like, not a lot, but it has comedy in it, but it doesn't make it too cheesy. It keeps it serious. Like at one point, when one of the police officers, which I could get on a whole nother rant about Carl Winslow, when he's calling in to get backup for this tower, it cuts to a guy in the station, and he's trying to like talk to his significant other, like, yeah, I can get plans at this restaurant because it's Christmas Eve, and he's trying to like wine and dine her. In a lot of movies I'm used to, when he hears the intercom of, I'm just going to call him Carl Winslow, Officer Al, I think it was, you know, asking for help. I could see in so many other movies they're like, we don't take this cop serious, whatever. But like he gets so serious, the look on his face, like, oh man, then the troops are sent right in. Uh, Maybe the things I didn't like. If you guys are a fan of this movie, I've seen it before. I don't really like how the LAPD takes over and then the FBI takes over because they just come off kind of stupid, but I know that's part of the story, so it works. I don't really like the obviously dubbed over voices in the walkie-talkie conversations, which I'm literally just nitpicking because then I could compliment that at the same time. I love the walkie-talkie conversation. Just to address that, pretty much this cop, it was Carl Winslow from Family Matters. I think his name was Al. I always forget, but he's the first one to check out the problems, and John McClane lets him know what's going on, like very soon. You just have to see it. I don't want to spoil that part. But they have walkie-talkies, so he's communicating to this cop the whole time, and he's going by the name Roy Rogers, which that would explain the Yippee-Ki-Yay line that everyone knows, because at the same time, Hans Gruber and his guys are on the same line with the walkie-talkies. So, as John McClane is kind of methodically studying the enemies, he gives some information to the terrorists that Hans Gruber and his guys are surprised that he even knows about. So I know I'm kind of jumping around, but that's the point. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. If you don't, go watch it. I'll tell you where in a minute. But that's where the famous line comes out where Hans Gruber's like, who are you? Just another American who grew up on fantasies of being a cowboy. What are you, this or that? He starts naming all these heroes, and that's where Bruce Willis, John McClane says, well, I'm a little more partial to Roy Rogers. And then Hans says one more line to him, oh, you really think you'll survive this or that? And that's where he goes, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. And I believe that is old Roy Rogers, like Western quote, something that he would say. I'm not too sure. But anyways, yeah, this movie just builds and builds and builds. It has a couple times where it slows down for a little character development, which doesn't slow down the movie at all. The pacing of this movie on paper is so good, but in execution it's even better. It just zooms by. And man, Bruce Willis, John McClane just getting more and more fucked up as this movie goes, and somehow makes it to the very end. And the ending is crazy too. I won't give any of that away. I want to mention what I really liked about this film, but I feel like I'll give a lot away. I think if you've seen this before, there's a part at the end where Hans Gruber sees a police report going on with John McClane and his wife's kids on the news, and there's a part there where he kind of puts two and two together, Hans, and just the look in his fucking eyes when he realizes what's happening, and the music, the score that drops in, and the camera zooms. Now, it's hard for me to put like an action movie in like the best movies of all time. I mean, cause what are you gonna say, like Citizen Kane or like some shit? Because I know people that would say Step Brothers is the best movie of all time, and I'm not mad about that. Everything's subjective. I just think people are doing this film a disfavor if you can't say this is one of the best movies ever made. This would have to be like top 100 at least. Like, I mean, to be generous, like it's one of my all-time favorites. I know I ranted and rambled, but I think that's what some of you guys may like about my videos, because I don't script this shit. Because I think that's kind of weak, man. Like, let's just fucking talk movies, man. Let's talk some shit, And I would say this movie is fucking amazing. I'll show you a couple things I got in here. Obviously, this is the slip. This is the standard, like, Blu-ray DVD cover. And something really cool that came with this, like, Christmas edition, if you call it that. Comes with these postcards I want to show you guys, so, like... Nakatomi. Now, this one I would definitely send to my boy Carlos. If I didn't think these might be, like, worth something. Probably not. Then, also, you can grab this with the 5-movie set on pretty much any site, but for you guys that are wondering maybe an easier way to watch this on Christmas Day, it is for free, well, not free, free on Peacock with a subscription, and it's also on Amazon Prime if you guys want to give this movie a watch. Now, the final question I have to answer. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? I'm going to say 100% yes. I think it's not fair that it's categorized as an action movie because honestly, if a movie takes place during Halloween, y'all would consider it a Halloween movie, right? If it takes place during Thanksgiving, which is more rare, it'd be like a Thanksgiving movie, right? I mean, Halloween's a better example, but just because this isn't like your type of Christmas movie, like Snoopy or The Grinch or something, like full on Christmas, because I respect you guys that love Christmas. I love it too. Not the whole month of December when shit's stressful, but I love Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. I think you Christmas guys and gals are just so hung up on what Christmas should be to you, you don't realize that Christmas can be other things to other people too. And when you really break it down, it's like it starts with Christmas music, him being picked up, he's brought to a Christmas party, there's a big old Christmas tree, there's so many one-liners like when they go when see I don't want to give too much away. There's lots of things that relate to Christmas in here, and it starts with a reference about Christmas. The movie ends with a reference about Christmas. And overall, I think John McClane would have never been here in California if it wasn't for a Christmas party, which a Christmas party is what got taken over. One of the most iconic scenes, I'll give this away. The first guy John McClane kills, he straps him to a chair, sends him up the elevator with a Santa cap on him with a shirt that says, "Now I have a machine gun, ho ho ho." He stole, ho ho ho. He stole the machine gun from the guy. Like so many Christmas references. Plus, I mean, like I said, it happened on Christmas Eve. He wouldn't be there if it wasn't for Christmas. But yeah, like I said, I'm going on 17 minutes now. I didn't expect this video to go on so long. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you made it all the way through. If you did, you're a fucking Die Hard fan. And I appreciate you guys watching this. If you haven't, or if you just want to watch it again, like I said, Peacock or Amazon Prime. And you can get these sets pretty cheap on Amazon themselves or Target.com. So do yourself a favor. If you're a movie collector, this belongs in your collection. My favorite Christmas movie. There, I said it. But anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. I am 5 subs away from 300. Might not seem like a lot to you guys, but for a guy who started this just as a hobby, means a lot to me for anybody watching these videos. I'm thankful for all that. And hope you guys will like, subscribe to this, spread the word, because next week on January 1st, I'm going to continue a tradition. Every year in the first of the year, I do a complete horror movie collection. And this is my 3rd one I've done in a row. It's going to be a long video, but for anybody asking me about my complete collection, I just recently brought it down 4 shelves. Top 4 shelves are all horror. This is a horror channel with some independent wrestling, so if you guys want to check that out. And I also have the next Cruise Control, which is a pro wrestling vlog I do on my indie wrestling trips. I have that coming out the following weekend. So I have complete horror movie collection on the 1st of January, and then right after that, the newest Cruise Control. So a lot of good shit coming your guys' way. Let me know if you have any other favorite Christmas movies. Maybe something I could watch tomorrow. Or today when you're watching this, that is. But other than that, I appreciate you guys watching this. In the comments, let me know, is this a Christmas movie or not? Hopefully everyone's been doing good. Thanks for watching. Blood, Guts, Gore. I'll check you guys next time.